I grew up in a Christian home, had an amazing family, mom, dad, 2 sisters, and grew up very involved with the church, had a relationship with God at an early age, and grew up singing in the church, and moved here in the middle of my 8th grade year. Life had changed, and you start to feel this need to want to be accepted, wanting approval of others. And I can remember the first time that I went to a party. First time I smoked a joint, it was fun. That lifestyle quickly escalated to much heavier drug use, cocaine, LSD, ecstasy, and I was always looking for the next high, the next party. Dropped out of high school when I was about 18 years old. I moved into a house with 5 other buddies where it was a constant party, 24/7, drugs coming in, going out of our house. It just became my full-on identity. Even in the midst of the darkest of night, some of the darkest things I was doing, I could still feel God there. One time I was just out of money. I got a ride back to my parents' house. I can remember walking in the house and hearing my mom crying, and I remember walking down the hall to get a closer listen, and I could hear my mom praying. I could hear my mom crying out to God. And I can remember walking in the room saying, "You need to stop doing that. You need to stop doing that, because don't you know there's a war going on in my heart? And I don't want that war anymore. I want to live the way that I want to live and keep doing the things that I want to do." I remember getting an invite from one of my sisters. She was singing, and I can remember coming and sitting in these pews. I felt like the whole service was directed right towards me. And I can remember coming down to the front that night to just receive prayer and realizing that I needed to make some changes in my life. And I'd like to say that when I left that night that my life changed, but unfortunately it didn't. I think in some ways I was trying to fix myself and trying to pull myself out of the mess. After a while, I can remember one night getting in some trouble, and I wound up in jail. And I found myself in this place of just like total despair, hit rock bottom. And I can remember that night in that jail cell, just crying out to God, saying, "God, if you can get me out of this mess, I want to live for you. I want to surrender my life to you." Over those next 6 months, when God began to start giving me a new identity that was based on Him, and there was a season when God began to give me gifts that I never would have dreamed or imagined I would have. And I just learned music theory, and I started leading worship, and God just started to miraculously do things in my life that I never would have dreamed or imagined, or I never thought I was even worthy to do. That God could step into my mess. That God could step into my brokenness and just extend His love and His grace that I didn't deserve. And He transformed my life, and I'm living proof that God can take a mess and use it for His glory and His good. I'm so thankful for God's amazing grace today and the redemption that we have in Him, and that He can take something so broken and something so messed up and make it beautiful. And as I look back, I can see throughout my story how no matter how far I was from God, no matter what I was doing, God was constantly pursuing me. He wants us to be close to Him. He calls us His own. He calls us His sons and His daughters. Our God's love is that amazing. It overwhelms me. I'm just overwhelmed by His grace and His mercy, that we are redeemed by the blood of Jesus. And I'm so grateful for that today.